So I've dedicated a lot of my life to this TBR, or to this readathon. What? Hello everybody, my name is Kelsey, and we're about to get very, very nerdy with my September and Magical Readathon TBR. So, September is the Autumn Equinox semester of the Magical Readathon. You guys know I love this readathon, so September is going to be interesting to say the least. But I'm very excited. I had a pretty decent August, and I think that we are in for some really exciting reads in September. We get to really dive into some of my fall reads. Like, I am in the fall mood. I'm ready. We're gonna kick this thing off right at the start. So all fall things all the time. So that was not important, but that is the vibe of September, is like the beginning of all things fall. We are here to do my TBR for the month of September. So like I usually do in videos like this, we're going to have like a two-parter. So the very beginning will be my normal TBR basket picks and my the basket of reads, if you will, and then the second half will be all of my readathon things, and hopefully there's going to be a lot of crossover. If you're here for one thing or the other and you only hear about my TBR basket, or you only hear about the Magical Readathon, I have everything sectioned down below, so feel free to skip to the part that you care about. But without further ado, let's start everything off with taking a look at last month's books and seeing how I did. My first pick of August was a free read, so I chose the 9th volume of Cherry Magic by Yu Toyoda. The next one was to read or listen to an audiobook, and I chose These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean. Next one was a book with an Asian main character or Asian author. I did Watermoon, which has both, by Samantha Soto Yambao. The next one was a book you didn't know a whole lot about, so I chose Wrong Place, Wrong Time by Gillian McAllister. The next was Booktube Made Me. I originally chose The Invention of Sophie Carter, which was a book I picked up because of Desi from Drawing Desi, but I actually switched it, to be nice to myself, to the first volume of Giant Days, which I picked up because of J.D. Ray Reads. A book that was gifted, I chose Welcome to Pawnee by Jim O'Hare. Read an adult book, I did Devil and Spring by Lisa Kleypas, which is the third book in the Ravenels series. And last book was a book under 200 pages, and I chose the 10th volume of Cherry Magic for that one. So, as far as what I was able to accomplish, the only things I haven't finished are These Summer Storms by Sarah McLean, which I am actively reading. Like, we're close to the end of that one. And then I haven't picked up Welcome to Pawnee. There is still time. I'm recording this early. You're going to see this video earlier than you normally see my TBRs anyway, and I'm recording early, so we've got like a week or so left in the month. So it's still possible that I could read this, but as of right now, this is the only one I haven't touched, so I'm not going to give myself a reward or anything, which is basically just to take one of the prompts that I'm going to get for September and ignore it. So if I am able to finish this, I'll say sure, and I'll give myself that possibility in the next month, which I'll tell you about in my next TBR. But my thoughts are, I'm probably not going to get around to this one because I have a couple other books that I'm actively reading. So, unfortunately, even though it's like super short, I still wasn't able to get to this one. I swear one day I will. But the fact that that's only one that I wasn't able to get to, and I only made one switch throughout the month, I feel very accomplished. So, without further ado, let's take a look at the TBR picks. The first TBR pick for September. Pick number 1. Oh, a book released this year. The first prompt is to read a book that came out this year, aka 2025. So I am choosing Rebel Witch by Kristen Cincerelli, which is book 2 in the Crimson Moth duology. This came out a little bit earlier this year. I am obsessed with the first one, and I remember the whole thing. Like, I don't even think I need a refresher, but I'm so excited about this one. This is a story. The first one is Heartless Hunter. It is the Crimson Moth in the UK, so like in the US it's called something different for some reason. In the first book we follow two main characters, Rune and Gideon, and it is a witch versus witch hunter aesthetic vibe, if you will, dynamic. That's the word I'm looking for. And Rune's a witch, and it's set in this world where like witches are thought of as bad, and Gideon is in charge of the like military or soldiers who are in charge of finding witches and getting rid of them. And so Rune has kept her witch identity on the down low, like very down low, and also takes on the persona of the Crimson Moth, which is this superhero kind of vigilante character that goes and like saves witches and helps them out. And so she is trying to find she's trying to find the location of a witch that she's trying to help, and she thinks that Gideon, being the head of the soldier army, is going to be able to help her, and he has suspicions that she is this Crimson Moth character that he's trying to capture and figure out what's going on. So they basically both try to seduce the other one to get what they want, and it's their romance. So I'm very excited. I loved the first one, and this will kick off all of my fall reads that I'm so excited about. I'm so ready. Pick number 2. Oh, a book that is part of a series. Next one is to read a book that is part of a series. So I'll be choosing Endless Terrors by K.J. Sutton, which is the 5th book in the Fortuna Sworn series. You probably have seen that I read the 4th book in my most recent, well, not most recent vlog, but one of my more recent vlogs where I did some of my 5-star predictions. And I had a hard time with that one. It was really thick, but it ended in a way that I needed to know. And so this is the next one, and it's significantly shorter. And the 6th and final book in the series is coming out later this year. So like, I'm gearing up. I'm gonna finish it, I swear. So I'm very excited about this one. It definitely gives off like fall vibes. But this series, Fortuna Sworn, was our main character, Fortuna, who's a nightmare, and basically what that means is that she has the ability to, if she can touch you, she figures out immediately what your biggest fear is and can use it against you. And it's kind of like it's kind of vampiric in nature, because like they suck the fear from you, and like that gives them power. It's very strange. But in the very beginning of the series, her brother has been missing for 2 years. Everyone's kind of written him off as like, we hate it, but I don't think he's coming back. And so she has not given up on him, and she is approached by the king of, I believe it is the Unseelie Court. I always get Seelie and Unseelie Court mixed up, but one of the courts. And he basically is a fae and says, I can help you. I know how to get the answers you seek, but you have to marry me. And she's like, I mean, okay. And so that just starts. That is like barely scratches the surface on what the series is about. That's what the first one and how things get kicked off. I'm very excited about this. The 4th one, like I said, had a lot of issues for me, but it still ended in a way that I was like invested in what was going to happen. So I need to pick up the next one sooner rather than later, and this feels like the best time to do it. Number 3. A book with a fan on the cover? A book with a face on the cover. So I definitely need to rewrite this one because I had no idea what it was saying, but it's a book with a face on the cover. So for this one, I will be choosing Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas, which is the 4th in the Ravenels series. This book follows, it's kind of like the Bridgerton in a sense, where it follows like a family and people connected to it. So this one follows a woman named Gibson, Garrett Gibson. She's a doctor. She's the first like female doctor, and she showed up in the 2nd book, and she's like, I love her. She's one of my favorite characters. And so we follow her, and we follow this guy who is part of Scotland Yard, or was part of Scotland Yard at one point, and he has shown up, I think, since the 2nd book as well, actually. They didn't meet until the last book, but it's the 2 of them, and they are attracted to each other, so they decide to have one night, and that was it. And then, of course, like, that's not actually what's going to happen. Like, things are going to happen. But I don't know a lot about it, but the character of the doctor, like, she was fantastic from the beginning. Like, the minute we met her, I was like, I want her to have her own story. And I was really excited that she does have her own story. So I'm excited to see what that's going to turn into. But this is the one that follows the 2 of them. And we've kind of, they are Ravenel adjacent. So we'll learn a little bit more about that. But historical romance, it's out at like the Regency Victorian time period. Y'all know I'm on board for all of that. Number 4. A book out of your comfort zone. Okay, the next one is going to be weird because I don't know a whole lot about it, and I'm picking it for this prompt because I need it for my readathon. Okay, and that is a book that's out of your comfort zone. This one is called Mary and the Birth of Frankenstein by Anne. I'm just going to put the name on the screen because I genuinely do not know how to pronounce this. This is a Finnish author, I believe. And this is a book that basically is a dual timeline, and it follows Mary Shelley as she is discovering like the story of Frankenstein. So like there's one part that is like when she's 18 and really young, and then there's one part I think it's a little bit older, or maybe the older version is 18 and there's a younger version of her, but she like it's her discovering the story of Frankenstein. So I don't know a whole lot about this one, but I needed a Finnish author. So this is what I chose. It sounds interesting. It feels like the perfect Halloween book because Frankenstein is very Halloween-esque, or fall maybe. So I don't really know what I'm going to get from this book, but it's like historical about writing. And there may be a LGBTQ plus character or relationship in it. If I remember correctly, I might be wrong on that. But either way, sounds interesting. I'm about it, and I don't know a whole lot about it. And it's out of my comfort zone because I don't know anything about it or anything really about this author. So, number 5. Read a graphic novel or manga. All right, the next one is a graphic novel or manga. So I am choosing the 5th volume of Lore Olympus by Rachel Smith. I have loved the series, you guys know it, but I didn't mean to, and I ended up putting like a break in between them. So I'm definitely many volumes behind. I just picked it up for this, and I'm very excited. You guys know how much I love the art style. It's just so colorful. But this is a reimagining of the story of Hades and Persephone, told in a graphic novel version, told very beautifully, and it doesn't shy away from all the hardships that are in Greek mythology because it's very easy to romanticize a lot of Greek myths and ignore the harsh realities of them, and Rachel Smith does not do that. Plus, beautiful art style. So this is the most recent one that I haven't read. I always seem to read a Lore Olympus volume almost every readathon that I've done, magical readathon. So I'm excited to get to this one. They're hefty, let me tell you. But graphic novel, even though it's a thicker one, these are so easy to get through. And I just love Lore Olympus as a whole. Like, it's just amazing. It's just a very well done series. Number 6. Read a retelling. And this one is to read a retelling, so I am choosing Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo. This, from my understanding, is a Rapunzel sort of retelling. This author did To Kill a Kingdom, which was a Little Mermaid retelling that I read quite a few years ago and absolutely loved. I got this copy in a fairy loot because occasionally they would do like those second books as like surprises, and this was one of those. I am all about it. It says here, a girl cursed for eternity, a boy on a quest for vengeance. So I don't really know a whole lot about it besides that, and I just really like this author. I'm willing to give it a shot. There's just something about this book that's calling to me recently, and so I am very excited about it. Number 7. Read a book that will make you smile. Aw. The next one is to read a book that will make you smile, so I will be using the next volume of Cherry Magic, which is volume 11 by Yu Toyota. I love this series so much. You guys know it. I'm so close to the end. Like, there's 14 out right now. And I can see the end coming, and I'm excited and scared. But this is a male romance that I have just utterly loved. And in the first one, it basically follows our main character, Adachi, who turns 30. And in this world, if you turn 30 and you're a virgin, you somehow have magical power for some reason. And that is that if he touches someone, he can read their minds. And so he's just trying to figure out his life now that he has this ability. And he runs into this guy named Kurosawa who he works with and brushes past him and discovers that Kurosawa has like the biggest crush on him. And he's not sure what to do with his information. So it's their relationship of sorts. And we are 11 volumes in, and things are happening, and I love them. I don't know where the next step is for them, but I am all about them. So I had to find a Cherry Magic. Like, I had to fit a Cherry Magic volume in here somewhere because I am that obsessed with the series. And number 8. A seasonal cover. And the final book for my personal TBR is to read a book with a seasonal cover, which is great because, again, I'm in that fall mood. And so what I'm going to be choosing is The Forest Grimm, and this is by Catherine Purdy. This is my Fairy Loot edition. It's very, like, beautiful. I actually just picked up the second one because I have a problem and I picked up the second one without reading the first one. And just tell me this doesn't just scream fall all over it. But there's something about, like, magical forests and fantastical stories that just give me those fall vibes. And I've been trying to read this for quite a few years, and I don't know why I keep not reading it. So I'm choosing this because, again, forests. Mostly it's like the cover underneath this one. Like, this one gives me fall vibes, but either way, I'm all about the fall. So this book follows our main character, Clara. And it says that once upon a time in the village that she lives, they would whisper their desires into the Book of Fortune, and its pages would reveal how to obtain them. And then something happened, and the book turned evil, and so the branches of Forest Grimm snatched the book away, and the village withered. So they tried to make amends with the forest, but every time someone crosses the border, they are never returned. And so Clara embarks on a journey into this forest for this book. She is followed by her friend Axel, who apparently has feelings for her, and he puts those aside to go on this journey with her. It says that she's going in because this book can possibly help her find and reverse the curse to save her mother and the village. So, all about it. So, that is my personal TBR. So, if that's why you're here, thank you so much for coming. I'll see you in my next video. Now we'll get into the Magical Readathon things. So I will leave the announcement video down below, but the Magical Readathon is a readathon that is hosted by G at Book Roast. She created this, I've been doing this since the beginning. This readathon, it's basically like, the best way I can describe it is D&D meets magic school, because you create a character and then you take classes and go to school for a career that you think this character would do. So I have created like an elven type character, and I have gone for Master of Elements since the beginning. We are on year 4, which means that once I finish September, if I can complete everything I need for Master of Elements, I will have completed that career and I will have graduated with that career, which is fantastic. I'm very excited. That is my focus. But a couple of years ago, she added some more careers every now and then, and she added one called Wild Form Druid, which is one that I've been trying to do, and I've just been failing at. And I feel like last year, for the first time, I actually completed it, because like, it's a 2-part readathon. There's one part in the spring, one part in the fall, and the spring part I can always complete, but the fall part gets really complicated because there's a ridiculous amount of prompts. And so I think I've done it once. I think I've completed spring and fall once. So my goal, of course, is Master of Elements, so that I can actually officially graduate in that. But if I have extra time to do the other things for Wild Form Druid, I will. Plus, there are all these extra things that she has put where, like, you can win extra points and then use those points in like a store of sorts. I mean, it's all make-believe, so there are scrolls in there that will help you with prompts if you don't like a prompt, and you can switch it with something else, or if you need extra time to read a prompt, or if you need a book to fit more than one prompt, there's things that can help. So I have those in my back pocket if I need them, but I'm telling you this because there's like 15 prompts. That's not going to happen. Like, I know that's not going to happen. So there are 8 books that are required for the Master of Elements, and that is what I will be focusing on. But I'm going to tell you all the prompts I need for Master of Elements and Wild Form Druid, because I'm insane. Okay, let's get started. Something I forgot to mention is that each career you have to complete a specific class. And in the fall version of that, you have to get a specific grade in that class. So you may be required to read 1 to 3 books for each class. So not every class that I have to take is required for me to read 3 books for. Only a couple of them actually are. Some I only need to read 1, some I need to read 2. Either way, I'll talk you through them, kind of. So Elemental Studies is the first class, and I have to read all 3 prompts for that. So the first one is Water on the cover. So I will be choosing Otter, and this is by Catherine Applegate. I read a book by Catherine Applegate, I want to say last year, for the fall TBR, or fall readathon. She is a children's middle grade author. She writes in verse. I actually technically started this one. I started reading it to Peanut, so we're going to start over, and I'm going to read it for me. But it basically just follows this little otter, and it takes place in California, and it has to do with the Monterey Bay Aquarium and like the rehabilitation center. So I don't really know a whole lot about what's going on here, but I love her stuff. At least the one that I read about the tree, it was beautifully written, and so I'm all about this one. But it's going to be super easy to get through because it's written in that verse style. I'm very excited. The next prompt for this class is to read a romance or a book with romance in some way. So I will be choosing the 11th volume of Cherry Magic for this one. So the last prompt for Elemental Studies is read the first paragraph of 3 books and choose from that. So I have actually already done that. I will plop the clip in here for you to see. So for this prompt, it is to pick 3 books, read the first paragraph, and choose one from that. So to make my life a little bit easier, I have chosen a prompt from my own TBR and just kind of found 3 books that fit that, which is retelling in some way. So I have 3 options here, and they're all a retelling of some sort. The first one is Princess of Souls, and this is by Alexandra Christo. Well, it doesn't say on the back here. I know from Googling that this is a reimagining of Rapunzel. The second one is Guild by Raven Kennedy, which is the first in the Plated Prisoner series, and this is a Midas retelling. And then the third one is Alpha of Mortal Flesh by Ben Alderson. This is part of his Darkmoor series. This one, I believe, is a little bit of a Red Riding Hood reimagining. If you can tell, he's got a red hood. I know there's something else in here as well, but I can't think of what it is. But it's werewolf, as you can see with the wolf. So the vibe is vibing here, and I'm interested to see by that one. So that was definitely Little Red Riding Hood, maybe other things, and I'm in the werewolf mood. So let me read the first paragraph of sorts of each of these, and I will let you know what we think. That was a good beginning. I'm very interested in that one. Oh my goodness. Okay. Okay. That started off very sexual right away. I was not prepared for that. And then the final one. And that started off very gruesome. Okay, I think I'm going to go with Princess of Souls. Purely, if I went into this based on synopsis, I would have thought this one for sure. But based on first couple of lines, I'm interested. Oh, I'm excited. I'm very excited now. So I can't remember if I said it in that clip, but I decided to be nice to myself, and I chose a prompt for my TBR, which was retellings. So the one that won, as you saw, was Princess of Souls by Alexandra Christo. Very excited about this one. This was the one that I actually wanted to win out of those 3. And I'm just like, for some reason, feeling this book. I haven't like wanted to pick this book up since I got it. Like it was on my TBR. I wanted to read it, but like it wasn't one that like called to me until this month. So I feel like that was fate, and there was a reason it got picked. The next class is Shapeshifting, which over both of these careers I have to read all 3 for as well. The first one is Genre Blend, so just in some form, 2 different genres. So I am choosing Hello Stranger by Lisa Kleypas for this because it is historical romance. That might be bending the prompt a little too much, but it is a historical fiction and there's romance. So it counts. The next one is this title that starts with D, N, or A. So I recently picked this one up for this prompt, and that is New Names for Lost Things by Noor Unar. This is a poetry collection. I'm not like, I used to love poetry and I just kind of have dialed back reading poetry, but this author did another collection called Yesterday I Was the Moon that I read like way at the beginning of my booktube adventures, and I fell in love with that book. And I've been like eagerly waiting for this author to come out with other things, and they have. So I picked this one up. It's like poems, it has art, it's just a lot of fun. This one specifically says it's a poetic meditation on identity, loss, and loneliness. And so I think it's going to be harder to get through than maybe the other one did, but I'm curious to see if I still love this author's work, because I was so like, I loved the first one, and I've put like a good 5 or 6 years between the two. So I'm curious if I will still enjoy this one. But it starts with an N, so, and it's a thin book, so it's gonna help me out. And the next one is multiple POVs. So I will be hopefully reading The Marriage Act by John Mars, which is an author that I read. It was called The One last year. I talked about it like nonstop. But this one is from multiple POVs, just like his previous one. It follows like 5 or 6 different people. I'm just gonna read you the back because it's really short. It's a speculative sci-fi of sorts. What if marriage was a law? Dare you disobey? Britain, the near future. A right-wing government believes it has the answer to society's ills, the Sanctity of Marriage Act, which actively encourages marriage as a norm, punishing those who choose to remain single. But 4 couples are about to discover just how impossible relationships can be when the government is monitoring every aspect of your personal lives, monitoring every word, every minor disagreement, and will use every tool in its arsenal to ensure everyone will love, honor, and obey. So, creepy? But I loved his work, and this just sounds interesting, and I picked this one up not too long ago. Plus, I have just to read a John Mars book on my 2025 TBR, so this will fulfill that as well. Feels mystery weird, and that's what I like during the fall, so we're going to read that one hopefully. For animal studies, I have all 3. The first one is a debut book. So I am choosing The Double Vice by Chris Holcomb, which is the first in a Hidden Gotham novel series. Chris, my husband, got me this. I mean, I want to say we were freshly married. Like, it's been 5 or 6 years since he picked this one up. But it is a murder mystery that takes place in New York City. It's the height of Prohibition. It's 20s, but it follows a gay speakeasy owner. And so this series has, I think, a couple books in it at this point, but I like went down the rabbit hole, and this was definitely this author's debut. It came out in 2021. Oh, that wasn't actually as long ago as I thought it was. But either way, it's been a while. I think this is probably one of the first books Chris has gifted me, and I still haven't read it. I've read others, but not this one. So, murder mystery. It's been on many fall TBRs, and I am determined. This is the year. I'm going to do it. So I put it in a prompt that is required. Like, this one is one of the ones that I have to get to, and hopefully that will help. The next one is to read a sequel, so I am choosing Rebel Witch by Kristen Cicerelli for this one. And the next one is to read the last book in a series, or the last book that is available in the series, and I am choosing Endless Terrors by KJ Sutton for this one because it's the 5th book, and the 6th one is not out yet. All right, the next class is Astronomy, and only the first one is required for this one, and that is a character with an invisible illness. So I've Googled to double check this, and the Google machine tells me that this is accurate. So I'm choosing Magical Meet Cute by Jean Meltzer, which is an author that I love, but she wrote the Matzo Ball, which I fell in love with. But all of her books have some sort of chronic illness representation, and it doesn't say on the back, but the Google machine, wow, I'm aging myself. Google told me that like fibromyalgia, I think, is, if there's fibromyalgia representation in this book, which is an invisible illness of sorts. So we're going with this one. I trust this author because, like I said, she always has some sort of representation in her books, because she is chronically ill herself. And so they've all been very different. And so I'm interested to see what this one feels. Very witchy, though. I mean, can you tell by the cover? It says over here, when you can't find the perfect man, create one. So this follows Faye, who used to be engaged, used to work in law, but she much prefers her life now as a potter in Woodstock, New York. The only thing missing is a perfect guy. And then it says, not that she needs one, she definitely is happily alone. But I think one night the town is pampered with anti-Semitic flyers after yet another failed singles event at the synagogue, and she drunkenly turns to the only thing guaranteed to soothe her, pottery. and then she somehow gets magic witchy and feels like she creates the ideal man to protect the town. And so it's their romance. It's given like practical magic vibes. So I don't know, but I mean, magical meet cute. Tell me this isn't about a witch. All right, the next class is restoration, which again, all three in some way. The first one is single POV. So this one is one that I do not know a lot about, but it's called Someone We Know, and it's by Shari Lapina. I believe this is single POV. It is the book that my book club is reading, and so I don't really know a lot about it. I know it's a murder mystery. Honestly, that's it. I found the Goodreads, and I'm just going to read to you what it says here. In a quiet, leafy suburb of upstate New York, a teenager has been sneaking into houses and into owners' computers as well, learning their secrets and maybe sharing some of them too. Who is he and what might he have uncovered? After 2 anonymous letters are received, whispers start to circulate and suspicion mounts. And when a woman down the street is found murdered, the tension reaches the breaking point. Who killed her? Who knows more than they're telling? And how far will all these very nice people go to protect their own secrets? In this neighborhood, it's not just the husbands and wives who play games. Here, everyone in the family has something to hide. You never really know what people are capable of. So it's blackmail, murder mystery. I don't know. Sounds interesting. All right, the next one. Okay, this is the weird one. The next one is, we've done this prompt before, which is to generate 5 different country, like do like one of those, I'll put it here so I write on it, do one of those like random generators and generate 5 different countries and then choose from them. So I got 5 very strange random countries, and the one that I ended on was Dutch. I did some Googling, I went down the rabbit hole, and the one that sounds interesting to me is one that's called Mary and the Birth of Frankenstein. This is what I mentioned earlier in my TBR, where I was like, I picked this one. Here's why I picked it. It's because it fit one of these prompts. So, Mary Shelley writing Frankenstein feels spooky, feels fall. I have no idea what I'm getting into, but my library does have the audiobook and ebook of it. So, I will be listening or reading it that way, and I don't know what I'm getting into. But I'm actually excited. It actually sounds pretty good. So this is a fun, super random one that is definitely out of my comfort zone, and we're just going to give it a shot and see what happens. And the last one for restoration is give an author a second chance. So I am going to be doing the second volume of Rat Queens. Because I read the first one, it was fine. I didn't think really too much of it. I've almost unhauled the series many times. I only own the first 2. I figured I'll give myself a break. I'll read a graphic novel, and if I hate it, oh no, I can unhaul them. You know, it's kind of one of those things where I've just heard meh things about it, and I feel like it ended dramatically the first time, but otherwise they were just kind of meh characters. So we're going to give it a second chance, and if I hate it, that is not a problem, and I will just get rid of them because I've been holding on to them for I'm not even sure why. And the last 2 prompts I have are from the Art of Illusion class. I only have to do the first 2 of those. The first one is a very similar prompt to one that I picked for this book earlier in my TBR, which is autumnal setting, cover, or story. So, The Forest Grimm by Catherine Purdy is what I'm choosing. Again, forest gives me those fall vibes. That's my reasoning. And the last one is to have technology on the cover. So on the 5th volume of Lore Olympus, you see she has a home phone. There's a telephone on this cover. So that's what I'm choosing for technology. Also graphic novel to help me out. That was a lot of books. That is my plan. I don't think I have anything else. Oh, there is one book that I didn't mention in either of these readathons. But it fits a couple of prompts for the Magical Readathon, so I may switch some things around later, but it is Artemis by Andy Weir. I'm actually helping to start another book club with some people at work, and this is the first book that we're reading, so I need to read this sometime in September. I'm very excited about it. I've never read an Andy Weir book. I know they wrote The Martian, and that was like really popular. I know that they are really popular, and the people that I follow that love like fantasy and sci-fi. I have enjoyed sci-fi when I've read it, but I don't really know what I'm getting in this one. I believe it's a murder mystery of sorts, or some sort of mystery on the moon. Literally all I know. So this is the only one I didn't fit on either TBR, but I think I could move some things around if I needed to make things work. But otherwise, that's it. Going into September, we all know that I'm not going to read all of these things. That is absolutely insane. Even at the height of my ridiculous reading in like 2020, 2021 time, where I was reading like 150 books a year, even that Kelsey was not this crazy. So I do not expect to read all of these books, but I think there's a very good chance. Like I said, there's 8 books that are required for the Master of Elements career. There's a very good chance I can do that. So I'm going to focus on those. As per usual, I will do weekly vlogs, hopefully, of this readathon. So stay tuned for those if you're interested in that. But otherwise, that is all I have for you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this ridiculous TBR that is way too long. And of course, as always, let me know if you are participating in the Magical Readathon, and let me know what careers you are going for. Are you insane like me and trying to do way too many? But I hope that you have a fantastic month. Or if you are not participating in the readathon, let me know what you are planning to read in the month of September. Are you like me? Are you like getting into the fall mood? Are you going to start your fall reads? Well, let me know. And if you want to comment something but you're not sure what to comment, comment a leaf. One of the leaves. There's like 3 or 4 different versions. Because like I said, I am ready for fall, y'all. I am so ready. But the weather has not gotten the hint yet, and it needs to figure itself out. But if you like this video, and I really hope that you did, don't forget to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe down below if you want to be part of this awesome growing family. I've also got all my social media down there, as well as other fun bookish links. So go check all that out, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!